Welcome, everybody. Stephen Muehlhausen here, and a couple minutes late. I do apologize. It's been, since Saturday night, it's been wacky. It's been wonky. It's been everything in between. But I am Stephen Muehlhausen, formerly of DAZN and SportingNews.com. Bleacher Report, a bunch of other places, but I am most known for being on Sporting News with Sporting News and DAZN. So thank you guys for tonight. Got a lot to talk about here. But before we even begin anything, I want to no Daryl Rivera today. He got a horrible migraine headache. So Daryl, feel better, my friend. We'll see you Wednesday after Dynamite and NXT. I want to thank everybody for the watch along we did on Saturday night, and it was 3.5 hours. I kicked it off. Daryl joined me about 90 minutes in, and man, it was fun. We had a lot of awesome feedback. Oh my God, we had almost 100 comments. I want to thank everybody who chimed in. Buddy, so much for that. And we had over 1,200 views. So I want overall, so I want to thank everyone. Thank you so much. It is appreciated. This is a new journey for me. And since I got laid off officially near the end of April, and slowly but surely this is getting to where I wanted to get to. And I think this is going very well. So I want to thank everybody for that. And there's going to be a lot better, I promise. We got a couple of guests coming up for this week, and we're going to be lining up. So they'll be on this week. We're going to have some fun, at least one this week, and we're going to have a ton of fun. I didn't know how to start this, and I was going to go a couple different ways, but I'm going to go this way. We're going to talk, first thing we're going to talk about Jon Jones, I promise. I got a lot to say about that, and I got some nuggets I want to give you guys. But I wouldn't be remiss, and I'm not one that talks politics. I'm not. I always try to stay away from it just because of the field I'm in. Being in this, it's hard. I try to keep it straight and narrow. I don't like veering in any other different direction. But this is too big of a story not to talk about, and because this affects the world. In fact, it's not just the nation. This is a worldwide issue, and we've all seen what happened with George Floyd when he got brutally murdered. And I'll say the word murdered because I think we just need to be honest with ourselves if we're really going to look at this fairly. And before we get any further, leave questions, leave comments. I'm going to see them all because we're live on YouTube. We're live on Facebook. Leave everything. Leave any questions. Leave any comments. Have anything. Follow us here if you're watching on YouTube, subscribe to the YouTube page, or if you're watching via Facebook, still go to the YouTube page, just go to the Walkway to Fight Club, subscribe, catch all the awesome interviews I've done. And also, we're on Facebook. If you're watching on Facebook, like the page, like the post, leave comments, leave questions. Follow us on Twitter, follow the podcast on Twitter at Walkway Fight, and also on Instagram at Walkway to Fight Club, all in lowercase letters. I don't know where to go, but we're going to rock and roll here. We're going to continue with George Floyd. And, it was a tragic thing that happened in Minneapolis. And there's no ifs, there's no ands, there's no buts about it. I'm not going to sit here and proclaim I've gone through what George Floyd has gone through, or what I've seen African Americans go through, Hispanics, Asians. I can't. I'm not going to sit here and lie. I'm Mexican. I'm not 100% Mexican. My grandfather came from Mexico. And I know what my grandfather went through. And the stories I was told by my grandfather, from my mother and from my grandfather. And my mother went through it when she was little, to the point where she got attacked for being Mexican and has had headaches and horrible migraines as far as I can remember, as far as she can remember. I've never gone through it. I can't sit here and try to say I feel your pain, because in a way I do, but then, because I don't want to see anyone hurt. I don't care who it is. I don't care if you're white, black, Asian. I don't, to me, I don't look at I know they say, oh, it's blind if you don't look at color. And, I know people look at color, and those are people I don't associate with. I don't care who you are, what color you are. I have African American friends. I have an African American stepmother. I have an African American stepbrother. And they're great people. We don't always agree. We don't always get along. But you take all that aside, they're still really good people. To me, I view everyone as good people. Because that's the nation. Where maybe I'm naive, maybe I'm dumb, maybe I shouldn't talk about it. But I've seen a lot, and I've lost followers on Twitter, and I see people sometimes when I start talking on here, people kind of veer off, and that's fine. I get it. It's a hard conversation to have. And I want to send my condolences to the Floyd family, because what happened was repulsive, ridiculous, uncalled for. This is 2020. I do apologize. We lost the feed. For everyone watching, thank you. I am so sorry. I get back to what I'm saying. What happened to George Floyd was incomprehensible. It was repulsive. That didn't need to happen. Maybe I'm naive. It's 2020. This has been going on for over 400 years, and yet it's still happening. And I don't know why. I don't get why people still do it and feel that we're all people. At the end of the day, we're people. This isn't to me, this isn't a black or white or brown issue. This is a right or wrong issue. And what happened was wrong. Blatantly wrong. 150 million% wrong. And, and we've seen, protests and a lot of peaceful protests. And not just in Chicago, but, around the country, Minneapolis and, Philadelphia, Atlanta, Houston, Los Angeles, all around the country, all around the world. You've seen stuff in London and Hong Kong, and you've seen peaceful protests. And then, we've seen it get wild, and on both ends, by the police and people. You're going to get a couple bad seeds trying to ruin something that is what is supposed to be intended to be a good cause. Because what the protesters are fighting for is a really good cause. It's a fantastic cause. And instead, you got a couple bad seeds that want to ruin the situation, and look at what's happening. You're seeing riots, looting, and I put something yesterday, and it happened right down the street from my house, 100 yards from my house. An attempted carjacking, a group of people. You're looking at less than a football field. I got 2 kids. I got a wife, dogs. I love my family. I love my town. I love my country. I love everybody. Maybe I'm naive because I love everybody. I guess I'm a very kind-hearted individual. Maybe sometimes I'm too nice. But what happened? These people looting and shooting, and that's not what it was. These protests were intended for. You come into my backyard. This is my town. Tinley Park, Illinois is my town. My house. You want to enter my house? Come. You're not going to hurt my wife. You're not going to hurt my children. You're not going to hurt my neighbors. You're not going to hurt my family. And hopefully these people get punished to the severest degree. This is not what protesting it was intended for. These people, now you got these people just looting, breaking into stores, breaking into homes, shooting people. For what? For what? If someone can honestly give an answer, if someone can say looting and rioting was the intended purpose, I'm always open to listen. Because a 46-year-old man was mercifully killed by 4 people. 3 people may have been on George Floyd, but that 4th individual sat and watched when it could have been stopped. And I don't mind a protest. I've protested. The cause, I get the cause. I am definitely for 150 gazillion %. I am freaking for. But when you start acting like raging lunatics and trying to seize an opportunity, seize a moment, and you just start taking stuff, small businesses, big business, people's homes, things people have worked very, very hard for. I have no compassion at that point for those people. I don't. My wife's afraid to go to work, to drive to University of Chicago Medical Center. She's afraid to freaking drive because of these out of control human beings who are taking advantage of a very unfortunate situation that should have never happened to begin with. George Floyd should not have been murdered. He was murdered. And you got a bunch of individuals, not many. It's a good amount of people, but it far doesn't exceed the amount of good of what's going on in our great country and our great world. That wasn't the purpose. That's not what the cause is about. I may not be African American. I am a minority. I haven't had to go, luckily I haven't had to go through any of those struggles, any of those situations that have happened in life. I've had it pretty lucky. But I will stand by and I have plenty of African American friends. And I will stand by them. I am proud to walk with them. I'm proud to call those people my friends. And they know they need anything, I'm there. I'll be there in a heartbeat. They don't even have to think twice. You ask me, I'm there. and you come into my backyard, scare my wife, who's afraid to get in her car and drive 40 minutes to work, because she is afraid she is going to get shot, and not come home to not even just me, but my children. You know, a 3-year-old son who does not understand what is going on. He's got no idea. And all I can tell him, and I really want to say it, and I try not to get with that with him. I just say, buddy, there's some really bad people doing some really bad things, because they're generally bad people. It hurts. It does. And hopefully this of what's going on unites everybody, and not just for a minute. This has got to be a continuous thing. This has got to be an everyday thing. We got to all work together for the greater good. This can't be, hey, you know what? This is going on. This is the cool thing of the moment. We'll help out for a New York minute and then bounce. No. We all have to help. Because if we all don't help, we're going to be right back in this situation. I know it, and it's going to happen. So let's all work together, everybody. I'm going to keep crying. So I see everyone bouncing in and out here, man. I want to thank everybody. I'm a lot more to say, and I'm going to bite my tongue for now. But I want to say I am praying for everybody. I see my aunt on here, and she had to go through a horrific experience yesterday. And Aunt Laura, I love you. Be safe, please. And be careful, and I love you. I want everyone to be safe out there. If you don't have to go to work, don't go to work. Try not to. See if you can work from home. My friends, my family, please do the same thing. If you don't have to go, don't go. It's not worth it. Until this dies down, once we get these bad seeds away and planted far away from us, let's do good. Let's not do bad, and let's continue being good people going forward. Because to me, this world is great. This country is great. And all of you are great. Let's talk about Adam Michaels. I'm happy you're speaking about this. We weren't allowed to have to ignore it. For me, the rioting and looting is criminal. The peaceful protests are amazing. No, they are amazing. I've been watching it all since yesterday, and I was watching some. That's why I was a couple minutes late. I was like watching it upstairs with my wife, and there is a lot of good. 99% of it is peaceful. It is great. It is amazing. And let's keep seeing that. Let's not see the bad going on in the world. I don't even know how I can transition that, because people really want me to talk about Jon Jones. I've already had people from UFC, I've had fighters message me already like, oh boy. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about Monday Night Raw. We're going to talk a little more George Floyd, but it's going to be a thing. It's a really cool story with George Floyd that I found out earlier, that I did get confirmed earlier. So we're going to talk about that. Everyone's been bouncing in and out. I love it. Thank you so much. We're on Facebook and YouTube Live. So if you're watching via YouTube, subscribe to the page. Awesome. Tons of interviews. We got a couple coming up this week. So definitely stay locked in. Facebook, if you're watching on Facebook, like the page, love the page, follow us. We're almost at 1,000. So we need to really hit that benchmark. There's a couple things we got in the works here, so that will enhance everything, and it'll be great for you guys. So then I can keep continuing not to charge anybody for free. We can do this all for free. So let's keep rocking that. And thank you guys so much. Follow us on Facebook. Just search the Walkway to Fight Club. Go to Twitter at Walkway Fight, and then hit and switch up to the Twitter. And to go to the Instagram, which I still don't understand this Instagram nonsense. To me, it's a bunch of pictures and short videos, but a lot of people tend to like it. So just go Walkway to Fight Club and click that follow page. Let's talk about the current reigning, defending UFC light heavyweight champion, the great Johnny Bones Jones. And before that, because I am thirsty, and I gave my wife this beer. We had beers like 2 hours ago, and I've taken 2 sips, so I'm sorry. Actually, I'm not sorry. All right. We talked about this, me and Daryl, on Saturday, and it got a whole lot worse following our podcast. Dana White's dig down, Jon Jones dug deeper. And it got to the point where Dana just said, Jon could have been the LeBron James of MMA, and but he can't stay out of trouble, and this is why we can't give him his money. He just signed a new contract, and I'm not going to renegotiate. And he's asking, it went from 10, 15, 20, $30 million. Jon sees it and is like, and I'll read the tweets because it gets to the point though where I should have just printed these up. Give me 1 second. I will. Right now, I'll turn on the good old Wi-Fi, and we will go to Jon Jones's Twitter machine because Jon Jones has been stealing the Twitter show, in my opinion. Let's see. If you're not following Jon on Twitter, follow him at Johnny Bones. Let's see. This was all. Let's see. Dana goes on during the post-fight press conference. He goes, "I tarnished you," because Dana was responding to a comment, a question, and Dana White goes, "I tarnished you. You've done a very good job of tarnishing you." And it just kept going. A reporter asked Dana White to show these text messages that Jon was alleging that showed Jon was asking for more money. And Dana, being Dana, didn't do that. He went on a tirade about why he would lie for nearly a minute. Jon sees all this, watches all of it, goes to Twitter a little bit after midnight Sunday morning. Goes, "At no point did I ever demand anything from you, Dana. I simply asked for a super fight and asked to be compensated for it. You were the one who started talking negotiations publicly and showing the world how much you've been withholding from your athletes this whole time. Hunter and I, the COO of the UFC, Hunter Campbell, and I had a very respectful conversation. I love how you're trying to paint this picture of me being some angry guy disrespectfully demanding money. And then bringing up my out-of-cage affairs just justified by underpaying me by tens of millions of dollars for years. You're talking all that big guy stuff about not caring. Put your money where your mouth is and release me from my contract." Then I thought this was interesting. A fan goes, "Get into boxing. You will definitely get paid what you deserve. I'd probably make more in my first boxing fight than my next 3 UFC fights combined. There's real estate, acting, just kicking it, and being a dad. No one needs to put up with Dana's lies." Then he does hashtag ESPN Dominic Reyes versus Jan Blachowicz for the UFC Light Heavyweight Championship of the world. As of right now, I got nothing to really gain from fighting either of them. Let me know if you guys want to set up a day in 2021 for that Izzy fight, meaning current middleweight champion Israel Adesanya. Hopefully you guys will be willing to pay by then. Fan asks, "You revoking your title?" Jon says yes. Then Jon goes, "Bones out. When you see me in the streets, just call me JJ. To the light heavyweight title, Vini Vici." A lot to A lot to undertake. We'll start with that. There's more. This is a game of. This is always when you go with a fighter and the promoter. It's so weird in MMA. I don't understand why fans go along more with the promoter than they do the fighter. I don't understand this. And every time I think about everyone, people are like, "Oh yeah, it's Dana, he's right," and it's like, you guys have no idea how this works. The UFC doesn't give a flying hoot about fighters. They care more about the brand. Like, all the good things fighters do doesn't get pushed by them at all. Like, you look at what Israel Adesanya did today for Black Lives Matter. He was at a Black Lives Matter rally in New Zealand, spoke in front of 4,000 people. I didn't see the UFC do a dang thing, put any video up of that on their social media. ESPN did. Seems like ESPN cares more about it than the UFC. Seems like ESPN's a better promoter in this day of age than they are. And you got to think about that for a hot minute. But here you got the GOAT. Indiscretions or not, and there's a laundry list of them. Jon is the UFC light heavyweight champion. As of right now, he's still the champion. Unless something has changed, and I'm gonna look here because we might as well see. As of right now, he is the light heavyweight champion. Unless I have totally, let's see, I haven't missed, I don't think, anything. No. Let's see. I don't think we have. I think we're pretty. Let's see. Let's see. No, there's the thing from Dana White, but we'll get into that in a minute. Here you got a guy who's the greatest of all time. Dana's called this guy. He's the GOAT. He's the greatest. All this guy wants is a super fight. He's bored. If you have not noticed, he is legit bored. I don't know how anyone cannot see how he is not bored at 205. By everybody. He's bored of Reyes and facing Thiago Santos and Anthony Smith. And a guy at that stage of the game is going to be bored. He's got that look in his eye like, I would rather. To me, he's bored, so he's got to he's got to take the foot off the pedal a bit to get his juices going. I honestly believe this. Maybe I'm spot off wrong and I'm batshit crazy here, but I think that's the issue here. He wants that challenge. The fans want it. And when your consumer wants it, and the consumer they'll be willing, you can charge probably $70 for this fight and people will want to see it. Heck, I'm not even in the game. I'm in the game. I'm not in the game that I was before. I'll get back, and we're going to get this there. Whether it's this or I'm on another platform, this isn't going anywhere. But we got to remember, this is a big fight. Jumping up the heavyweight. Taking that challenge against the baddest dude on the planet right now, Francis Ngannou. For all the things Jon has done, you would have thought, come on. This guy isn't asking for $30 million. How is he not worth 10? How is he not worth 15? Because let's take all the, is he royally screwed up? Duh. If you've been living under a rock, he's royally screwed up. Plain and simple. No ifs, no ands, no buts about it. But does that mean he doesn't deserve to get compensated? Inside the cage, he doesn't have an equal. He's won. His closest fight was his last 2 fights. Okay. Maybe he's slipping. I don't think he is. I think he's legit bored. Honest to God, he's bored. He's got to be bored. I would be. You're that dominant. You got to find some type of motivation. You got to find something to kick you into gear to get you. Just dominating guys can get boring. I would have been. Look at George St. Pierre. That fight with Johnny Hendricks. There was times that Johnny fought. That was the best you've ever seen Johnny Hendricks. PEDs or not. That was the best I've ever seen Johnny Hendricks. And St. Pierre had, you could tell there's points in different fights he had gotten bored. He turned it on when he had to turn it on. And that's what made him great. And that's what makes Jon great. Jon knows when he has to turn it on. And he knows he's more talented than anyone else to ever enter the octagon. You can't hold past indiscretions against him. I honestly don't think so. What happens outside of his personal life is his personal life. I've always been the believer of, I don't care what you do outside of the boxing ring, the UFC octagon, the Bellator or ONE FC cage, or the WWE, AEW, or any in the pro wrestling ring. As long as you show up when it matters, when the camera's on, or when a fan is in the arena and it's time to compete, you're showing up. What I know, and I can always rely, as much as Jon has tried his hardest to lose by doing all these outside extracurricular activities, he shows up when it's time to make the walk. That man needs to be paid. Deontay Wilder's highest pay-per-view was the rematch with Tyson Fury between 8 and 850,000 bucks. Jon did 700 for the Gustafsson rematch. Around the same thing for the rematch with Daniel Cormier. Big, over 750,000 for the fight with Rashad Evans. Over 500,000 for the fight with Chael Sonnen. Over 600,000 for the first fight with Daniel Cormier. Deontay Wilder's only done it once. Jon sells out arenas, generates good buys on pay-per-view. He's a consistent draw. And he's great. Add that to the fact. It's the fact that the UFC does not want to pay. They can say, yes, they're losing gate revenue right now. They're going to be losing around $100 million if they don't have a fight card live in an arena the rest of the year. It's the number I've been given, and that is right now to be true. I don't know if there's going to be fans in arenas this year because of COVID-19. I think it just really depends on the world and if we can get a vaccine. And because I know I'm not going anywhere without a vaccine. I'm not traveling anywhere. I've made it I'm right now going on 2 trips. There's ain't no vaccine. I'm not getting my children sick. I'm not sacrificing that. Absolutely not. So, got to look at that side of the spectrum. And you gotta look at the fact too, Dana has a job to do. He's got a budget and he wants to stay within that budget. But when you get fights like this thrown in your lap, it's like, come on, what is the real reason you don't want to make this fight? Don't say because Jon's asking for $30 million. Because I know for a fact Jon Jones isn't asking for $30 million. He's not. He just wants to be fairly compensated. Everyone say, Dana's like, you signed a new contract, Bob. Every fight, it's a fight-by-fight negotiation. You owe fights, but you're negotiating the purse. That's what you're negotiating your salary. That's how that works with the UFC. If you try to tell me Jon Jones is only worth $5 million, GTFO. Sorry, GTFO. I don't have no other explanation for your horrible line of thinking. That's good. That goose silent goes down good, ladies and gentlemen. But no, that's the bottom line on that. You know, he should get if he's not getting. If you're saying for all the trouble he's gotten, and you're gonna give Conor McGregor all that money, you sell 2.4 million buys for UFC 229 against Khabib Nurmagomedov. Look what that made Khabib. That turned Khabib into a megastar. Look at his salary, and Khabib Nurmagomedov isn't no Rhodes Scholar either. He isn't no knight in shining armor. Let's just call that like we see it. At the end of the day, I don't know why you don't want to pay this guy. He's worth the money. Hey, John, here's $15 million guaranteed. Get a cut of the pay-per-view. It's $1 million $1 million plus buy pay-per-view, if not more. The GOAT making the move up the heavyweight to the biggest challenge yet against the hardest hitter in the history of mixed martial arts. The mixed martial arts version of Mike Tyson and Francis Ngannou. Jon Jones is worth the money. Plain and simple. Because Jon will do media. He has no problem doing media. And then maybe the UFC is like, well, we should have a gate. It's all, if Dana doesn't want to say, hey, we'll make this fight when we get fans in arenas. To be honest. Because everyone's like, oh, Dana's lying or Jon's lying. The truth is always lies somewhere in the middle in a matter like this. There's some truth to what Dana's saying. There's some truth in the Jon's saying. But they're both lying about something. Just come on and say it. I want to see these text messages. Come on. Let's see them. What's Dana saying? What's Jon really saying? I know for a fact that Jon Jones did not ask for $30 million. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Michael Anthony Strauss, thank you so much, my man. Long time no talk, man. Hope all is well. Need you back in the game, man. Need you back. Need you back. Thank you, everyone, for watching. This has been fun. I'm having a great time here, so thank you, everybody. Thank you, everybody, so much. But at the end of the day, Jon asked for his release. He doesn't want to no longer be the light heavyweight champion. I've always been the believer, and I've heard this about Vince McMahon. And I've talked to people in WWE about this. And I asked this to Bruce Pritchard about, I was at the first StarCast. Me and him did like a 15, 20-minute interview. And me and him talked when we were done. And I asked Bruce, was Vince McMahon, because there was some stuff brewing, and I thought he would have been there. He was the right guy to ask. I'm listening to his podcast with Conrad Thompson, something to wrestle with Bruce Pritchard. And I go, was Vince always that mindset of if a talent wasn't happy and they wanted to go, you let him go? He's like, absolutely. He's like, yeah. It's like he doesn't want a bad seed. If you were unhappy, you want to be somewhere else. Or you just don't want to be there. I'll let you go. And you're starting to see that more. And I know it's not when everyone wants it, like the Revival or FTR, you know how to call them now. Just to name a group. And I forget a couple other talents. I know there's some other talents that had just been released. Zack Ryder, Kurt Hawkins. A lot of guys that were unhappy with the company. And my view, and this is how I feel like Jon's unhappy. He doesn't want to be there. Let him go. He's not going to make better money somewhere else. But you know what? I think John would have a piece. I think Bella. I'll say it because people. I was asked about what if he went to Bellator, or what would be who's John's biggest challenge outside the UFC. I think Ryan Bader is a guy I would like to see. I'm interested now because Bader's gotten a lot better since their first fight 9 years ago at UFC 126. I think both guys are better. I think Bader's turned into a stud. Bader's one of the best guys in the world at 205. I'd say he's right behind John. I think it's Jones. I would have no problem going Jon Jones, Ryan Bader. But then after Ryan Bader, who's really out there? And that's kind of where, unless John goes to heavyweight, and even Bellator's heavyweight division isn't the greatest. Well, you got an aging Josh Barnett. But I like the Bader idea, but unless John goes like a fight by fight deal, there's no big fights out there for Jon Jones outside of the UFC. I think the situation gets resolved. I think John's just going to need more money. And you look at, I've seen a couple articles about this. And before we get there, Dana White made a comment to the Canadian press. And I want to read it really quickly because he was asked and reached out to about what he thought about John saying he'll retire, he'll vacate the light heavyweight title. I want to see. In the statement given in the Canadian press, White said, this is via MMA Junkie. White said Jones is in a position where he can walk away from fighting altogether should he want to. Jon Jones is one of the greatest to ever do it, said White. The decision he wants to make regarding his career is up to him. The reality is that he's made enough money from fighting that he's now in the position to retire and never work again in his life. I don't know. What is he going to say? But look at, you see these top 1% fighters making a stand. Look at all like the negotiations that Conor McGregor has to go through. UFC doesn't want to pay, and Conor McGregor is the biggest draw in the history of mixed martial arts. One of the biggest draws in the history of combat sports. They don't want to pay him. Look at what happened with Henry Cejudo. His star is rising. 700,000 buy pay-per-view. And he said sayonara after starching the greatest bantamweight of all time. They don't want to pay him. You got a guy who's the first American to ever win the first guy to win a gold medal to be in the UFC. 2008 Olympic gold medalist at the age of 21. Beat one of the greatest fighters of all time, Demetrius Johnson. Smoked the then bantamweight champion TJ Dillashaw. Blasted Marlon Moraes to win the bantamweight title. And then starched the GOAT at 135. What more does Henry Cejudo have to do? The guy just wants respect. Pay me. Show me. He's a draw. People love Triple C. Bend that freaking knee, baby. Bend the knee. I love Cejudo. I've spent time with Henry. Henry gets it. Plain and simple. He gets it where a lot of guys lack. Company guys lack. Cejudo doesn't play that game. Henry Cejudo plays the game of Henry Cejudo. He's looking out for him. He's not looking out for the UFC. He's looking out for the business of Triple C. And that weighed on him. He's like, you're not going to pay me. I'll see you later. There's no draw now at 135. The draw is gone. Peter Yan and Jose Aldo. I love Peter Yan. Don't get me wrong. Peter Yan is great. He's not going to draw a lick. Jose Aldo. What? Even though I think Aldo beat Marlon Moraes. I'm not even going to kid myself. That should have gone the way of Jose Aldo. That was highway robbery at its finest. I don't want to see that. No. Yeah, Corey Sandhagen. I like it. I like that fight this weekend with Corey Sandhagen and Aljamain Sterling. That's a good fight. Maybe Sugar Sean O'Malley, but I need Sean O'Malley to fight somebody. Eddie Wineland's a very good step up. That's going to be a good litmus test because we're going to see how good Sean O'Malley is, former bantamweight title challenger, taking on Sean O'Malley. I think that's a very intriguing event. Maybe Sean O'Malley can be that guy in 18 months, but he's not there yet. The GOAT is gone. Right now, Cejudo's the man. These top 1% guys. And you look at Miocic isn't happy with the heavyweight champion Stipe Miocic isn't happy with the UFC. That's been an on and back and forth issue with them. Another great story. Freaking firefighter fighting through helping out the first responders of COVID-19. Why isn't the UFC getting on top of this stuff? This is license to, like I said earlier on Twitter, this is a license to print money. And we're not printing any money. They're not printing money. You can't buy free publicity when it's like thrown, pew, boom, on your lap, and you still can't get it right. Boggles my damn mind. I love the UFC. UFC has been big for my life, but they gotta get it together. Cejudo's gone. From what I've been, Ariel Helwani from ESPN first confirmed it, and I've talked to a couple people in John's camp today. He's serious as a heart attack. He's gone. He doesn't want to be the champion. He just wants to be treated with respect. I don't know how hard that is when your biggest stars. We'll get into Amanda Nunes on Wednesday and that whole situation. But in the present, Jon Jones is the guy. He's the GOAT. Treat the man with respect. I'm not saying pay him $30 million, but he sure and hell is worth 15, guaranteed. He's earned that. He's a bigger draw than Deontay Wilder. He's a bigger draw than Tyson Fury. And I'm just talking in the United States. John's a big draw. You look at right now in UFC, it's Conor, Khabib, and then Jon. Being number 3 isn't bad when you're selling pay-per-views, selling out arenas, and putting butts in seats. That's what you're supposed to do. Hopefully, Jon gets it. I would love to see Jon, because the UFC's not going to release him. They should. Because, God, we're 1099. You're independent contractors. You should be, in that situation, fighters should be allowed where they want to go. But that's a completely different topic. So we're gonna see. It's a game of chicken. I wish Jon would leave. I don't blame Jon. Jon's on. If guys are on hit, guys are on maybe let him go. That's the open market. I don't blame Jon. He knows he's getting treated like crap. The fans know he's getting treated like crap. He deserves to be paid fairly. He deserves to be paid $15 million a fight. Absolutely. He's that good. Take what he's done outside of the cage, leave that there. But when it's time to make the walk, I will ride with Jon Jones all day long. I will put I'll bet the money on Jon Jones until Jon Jones shows me differently. Let's get the Raw really quickly. I want to plow through this because I wasn't happy with Raw at all. What was that? I'm still trying to figure out what I saw. I was very confused, very baffled. For everyone watching, because we got a lot of people just coming in, bouncing out, watching a little bit. Go to Facebook. We're blah, 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 blah. We're live on Facebook, and we are also live on YouTube. If you're watching on Facebook, just hit that like button. Pa-pow, like the post. Go to the Facebook page, The Walkway to Fight Club. Pa-pow. Follow us. Pow. Like the Walkway to Fight Club Facebook page. If you're watching on YouTube, hit that nice, beautiful subscribe button. Hit it. Pow. Leave questions. Leave comments. Leave them all. They will get answered. We got a couple up on the board. They've all been answered. Keep leaving them. I will answer. We're talking Jon Jones. You want to leave comments about George Floyd, Jon Jones, Dana White. I'm going to be correct and say uneven Monday Night Raw. And if you want to talk about Floyd Mayweather doing something un-Floyd Mayweather-like, as a lot of people have told me, even though they are wrong in that assessment, and Floyd Mayweather did something awesome. And I know people are surprised by it, but no, Floyd Mayweather did something really cool, and we'll talk about that. There'll be a feel good to end the show, but this Raw was, we had a mock retirement ceremony. I seen Dominic Mysterio. I seen R-Truth once again become the 24/7 champion. I seen Aleister Black beat Seth Rollins, which I'm still trying to understand. Match was good. I just don't understand why they went to a clean finish. That was kind of surprising. A lot of stuff about Orton and Edge. I'm sorry, if you think this is the greatest match of all time, you should not be watching this podcast. Because that crap was terrible. Not a good match with Apollo Crews and Kevin Owens. Went to a no contest. That's what I wish they would have did with Black and Rollins. I think we'll see that at Backlash. I'm really happy for Apollo Crews, a very underrated talent who should be getting, now he's finally getting an opportunity. Nia, we've seen Street Profits and Viking Raiders bowling. God, that at the beginning it was quite funny. The end, you took about 10 minutes of my life that I sure as heck would love to have had back. Because that was first world horrific. Let's see. Trying to remember what else happened. Nia Jackson, Kairi Sane. And a lot of people know Sane got injured during the match. The match was taped last week. And it was a spot where she went into the steps. She oversold it. I can't, a lot of people want to crap on Nia Jackson. A lot of time, and more often than not, I'm going to crap with you on her. Because I think she is reckless. More times than not. But in this instance, Nia Jax gets a hall pass. Because she did absolutely nothing wrong. She did everything right. It was just bad luck. I was wondering how they were going to edit this. They edited it the best they could. They showed a little bit of like referee sending to her, and then they just had, you could tell like the edit when they were checking on her and threw her back in the ring, hit the leg drop. Which I don't even know why they did a leg drop. It was a really bad leg drop for Nia Jax getting the win. And then as they were hyping really hard Charlotte and Asuka. And then during the show, they made Drew McIntyre an MVP. You look at those two matches, you're thinking, okay, what should be the main event? I've already seen Drew McIntyre squash MVP. Like, okay, we'll go with Asuka and Charlotte Flair. Because Charlotte Flair is main eventing the In Your House show this weekend. I think that's the main event. I don't know if it's Adam Cole and Velveteen Dream. But the Charlotte Flair, Rhea Ripley, Io Shirai match is heavily promoted on the show. It went way too short with Charlotte Flair and Asuka. I wanted to see that so bad. Match was good. It was getting good, and then it got cut off at the legs. I thought Pilaf finish. Because at first Charlotte's cutting the promo, and then you go to basically a non-finish. Nia Jax came out, took care of Nia Jax sauntered around wearing an Asuka mask. She also had the green face paintball ring for the DQ. Still don't get why they won the DQ. And then the show ended with Drew McIntyre defeating MVP in a non-title match with the Claymore. And then immediately after the match, Lashley put McIntyre in a full Nelson, and they abruptly went off the air. That was kind of a weird thing going off the air. I was really baffled by why they did that. I don't really understand what the whole reasoning was there. And then you had the other thing. So the Raw was okay. Then you had like a really weird the thing with Rey Mysterio. Wouldn't answer if he's retired, and then you got Dominic Mysterio wanting to avenge the travesty that happened to his father. He told Seth Rollins an eye for an eye. I'm actually quite intrigued by that. I don't know why. Because Dominic's going to turn on Rey, and you've seen it coming a mile away. It's coming, people. Don't be naive. It is coming. I promise. It is coming. But no, you will be getting that. I do promise. Okay, we will talk about that in a minute. There's some breaking news I want to get into here in 1 second. Something I definitely want to get into. Okay, let's get into this here. With Kevin Owens. Okay. Let's see. This is via Wrestling Inc. Okay. Jackson Riker from the Forgotten Sons took to Twitter and expressed his support for President Donald Trump, saying, "Thankful for the POTUS we have. God bless America, built of freedom, forgotten no more." Which the ending is part of the catchphrase for the Forgotten Sons. Jackson Riker, fans got upset, went and blasted Riker for his comments. And then Kevin Owens chimed in. Kevin Owens says, "The freedom you speak of entitles you speak to your mind. The freedom you speak of entitles you to speak your mind all you want. I'm not here to argue that. I just really need to tell you that I think you're pushing your shitty wrestling catchphrase as all of this is happening is absolutely effing pathetic. Good night." Had people bouncing in and out here, and thank you everyone so much for doing that. If you please follow us, like the Facebook page, the Walkway to Fight Club Facebook page. Just click the like button, like the post. Twitter, we're at Walkway Fight. If you're also watching on YouTube, just hit that old subscribe button. Or if you're not watching on YouTube and you're watching on Facebook, just subscribe to the YouTube page, the Walkway to Fight Club. And we're on Twitter at Walkway Fight, and also we're on Instagram. Follow us there, Walkway to Fight Club, all in lowercase letters. I'm always a believer of people can say whatever they want. If you support Donald Trump, that's your prerogative. You don't support Donald Trump, that's your prerogative. If you are indifferent, that is also your prerogative. However one feels is your prerogative. I'm very surprised that Jackson Riker would use part of his catchphrase and I agree with Kevin Owens. I think it's the wrong time and the wrong place. It's definitely the wrong time to be pushing your wrestling catchphrases, considering what's going on in the world. I think this is where athletes need to use social media a lot better than they do. Be like Jon Jones. Help your country. Jon Jones is out there helping rebuild Albuquerque, New Mexico. That's what Jon Jones is doing. Conor McGregor donating PPE stuff. You got great stuff by Titus O'Neil of WWE. You see guys and girls from AEW doing great things. Great causes. You know, voicing their support, doing things to help their communities. Putting insensitive nonsense on Twitter like this just to get your catchphrase over, I think is a little let's give that a pause for a few weeks, and then then you can go from there. Don't push your agenda, especially with what's going on in the world. Especially with what's going on. I think there's a right time, there's a right place to do it. Right now is not that time, nor is it that place. Let's go and talk about. We'll end with Floyd Mayweather because this story is just awesome, and I'm going to give Floyd Mayweather a ton of credit here. Floyd Mayweather is going to be paying for the funeral of George Floyd. Yeah, I read that and I'm like, I see what you're doing, Floyd Mayweather. I think that's absolutely fantastic. Let me click on the article here because I think the article was on. I saw the article. Yes. Here it is. Floyd Mayweather. Leonard Ellerby, the CEO of Mayweather Promotions, told Steve Kim of ESPN, he'll probably get mad at me for saying it, but yes, he is definitely paying for the funeral. Ellerby stated that Mayweather's been in touch with the family of Floyd, and the family has accepted the offer. Floyd has done these kinds of things for over the last 20 years, said Ellerby, who added that Mayweather didn't want to talk about his gesture. Mayweather previously stepped in to cover the funeral expenses of former boxer Genaro Hernandez, who died of cancer at age 45 in 2001. Mayweather won his first world title by defeating Hernandez in 1998. I know we give Floyd Mayweather a ton of flack, and it's all rightfully deserved. But like it or not, Floyd Mayweather is the greatest boxer in this generation. There's no ifs, there's no ands, there's buts about it. You can question the way he's went about it, but when it all comes down to it, Floyd Mayweather is the best boxer of this generation. And I'm sticking by myself. Take what he's done outside the ring, and focus on when he's making the walk. He's undefeated. Even though I don't think the last fight should count, but who am I? But Floyd's been doing stuff like this. An article said it a little bit there. He's been doing stuff like that he donates his time to homeless shelters. He serves food. He helps provide food for the food banks. He helps do stuff for like Thanksgiving turkeys and stuff for like the holidays. And Floyd Mayweather does more than he wants to let on. And I commend Floyd for that. But this is where it bugs me and nugs me about Floyd. Floyd can gain so much goodwill and he can improve his standing. Not just in the boxing community, but just stuff like how the world perceives him in general. Because you say Floyd Mayweather, a lot of people don't like him because he comes off as pompous. He comes off as arrogant. He doesn't give a flying hoot about people. Doing stuff like this is a generous cause. It's something you could tell he believes in. And Floyd Mayweather should be commended. And I salute Floyd Mayweather. Because what he's doing is fantastic. What he's doing is amazing. More people should follow what Floyd is doing in that aspect. So I think that's quite amazing of what he's doing. Doesn't have to do it. But Floyd understands, hey, this should never have happened. Because it was a murder. Let's be honest. Well, I said it at the beginning and I'll say it here at the end. It's a flat out murder, ladies and gentlemen. And I commend Floyd Mayweather for doing the right thing and standing up for what he believes in. I just wish Floyd would come out more and be more proactive and speak his mind more and be genuine. Because Floyd does have a good heart. A lot of people don't think it, but he does. And we will end with that thought for the evening. It's been all over the place. A lot of emotion. I'm physically and emotionally tired, so I want to thank everybody. You can follow. We're on Facebook Live and we're on YouTube Live. We're simultaneously live this evening. You can follow the page. If you're watching on Facebook, just go hit like the post, like the Facebook page, follow the Facebook page, follow the Walkway to Fight Club. If you're watching on YouTube, or even if you're watching on Facebook, we have a YouTube page, youtube.com/The Walkway to Fight Club, or just go to YouTube, search The Walkway to Fight Club, subscribe. Tons of great interviews. CM Punk, Bill Goldberg, Anthony Joshua, Chael Sonnen, Dana White. We can keep Anthony Pettis. We can keep going and going and going and going. Tons of great. Alexa Bliss, Dakota Kai. We got tons of great stuff coming up. I promise. Got two cool interviews this week. I got to make sure that we lock them in. So I'm going to reconfirm with them later. Actually, I'm going to do that right when we're done here. Got a Twitter at Walkway Fight. Instagram, Walkway to Fight Club, all lowercase letters. You can follow me on Twitter at SMuehlhausenJR. Muehlhausen, you can tell, is spelled right there. Muehlhausen, MuehlhausenJR. You can follow Daryl on Twitter at DYBarico21. Wednesday, we will be back with AEW Dynamite recap. We will also have recap of WWE NXT and everything else going on in the world of boxing, MMA, and professional wrestling. This is Steven Muehlhausen, and I will see you Wednesday night, and have a good rest of the night, and talk to you then.